Hey, Shawnee from SpeedCubeReview.com. So I just did a month of color neutral solves, and I would consider myself pretty much color neutral at this point. So I'm going to talk about the 5 ways that you can be color neutral, but before I do that, let's kind of go over what it is and why it might be beneficial. So the first thing of what it is, it's solving the cross on all 4 sides. If you're using CFOP, I guess you could be color neutral if you're using RU or stuff like that, but it's being able to solve the cross on all 4 sides efficiently. So up until now, I've mainly been doing cross on white, sometimes yellow. There are some people who maybe just do blue, sometimes green, or something like that. If you do both opposite sides, people call that, sometimes I've heard of like bicolor neutral or opposite color neutral. Full color neutral is doing all 6 sides. Now, someone like Felix Zemdegs is full color neutral. If you watch his solves, he is constantly switching up what side he's doing the cross on. How is it beneficial? The first thing I looked at for a while was how many moves it takes to do the cross. And if you just do one side, it's something like you can do it in 8 moves or less. And if you're color neutral, it's like 7 moves or less. I don't think that's the best indicator though, because I looked at that and I'm like, okay, it's 1 move, that doesn't matter. A lot of it has to do with being able to look ahead or finding easy crosses. So there are times when I was doing this and I found the cross was easy to do with just doing maybe 2 moves or 2 face moves, so doing R and D the entire time, because with that, this entire block doesn't even move. And so I can plan out 1 or 2, even 3 F2L pairs because the right hand and the bottom face are the only things that are moving for a little bit. So a lot of it has to do with being able to look ahead more or find pairs more easily and not just doing 1 less move during the cross. So let's go over the 5 steps that I would say for you to become color neutral. The first thing, and probably most important thing, number 1, don't care about your times. Just stop caring about them. And that was one of the biggest hurdles. When I started, I was originally solving in the lower teens, and then it's in the upper 20s and 30s. It feels like you took a big step back. And it's really hard to get past that first hurdle because you're so used to times being fast that it's frustrating that it's so much slower. And I tried being color neutral about a year or 2 ago, and stopped after a couple weeks because I was just frustrated by it. So the big thing is don't care about your times. If you have a competition in a week, this might not be the best time to start. But as you're solving, don't care about them. I would still say use a timing app, one, so you can see your progress as you go along, but also that way you get official scrambles or more realistic scrambles instead of just hand scrambling every single time. Number 2, don't time your inspections either. So do not do a 15-second inspection. Use this time to look at all 6 faces and see what all the different crosses are like. As you go along, you'll be able to find that more easily, plan that more easily, but when you're starting out, don't time your inspections. Almost the entire month, I did not time my inspections. That way I could try different things and see different things because I'm not used to finding a cross on green. So I would see it on white more easily and immediately think that that's it. Number 3, don't stick to just one color at a time. When I started this, I had a lot of people say, do just a week of red or just a week of red and orange, and then just a week of blue and green. I feel like that is not very helpful because you're limiting yourself, you're limiting your ability to practice finding the best cross. Yes, you're working on red when maybe that is more difficult to do than white or whatever you're used to, but you're limiting your chance to work on different things. So what I did was I just did everything but white and sometimes yellow. Usually 1 every 100 solves, I would do a white cross because I would have a scramble that's perfect for that, and I was like, I'm not wasting this opportunity. But most of the time, I would do red, orange, green, or blue, maybe yellow once every 30 or 40 solves if there's a good one there. But just do everything but what you're used to. And that brings me to number 4, try different things. Since your times are slowing down a lot, if not more than twice as slow, you have such a good chance to work on new techniques. Just different things that you might not normally do because you're just trying to solve as fast as you can. So you can also do other things throughout the solve, maybe learning some new COLLs or winter variation or ZBLL, something that maybe you haven't done before. Since your times are already slower, this gives you a good chance to learn some new things as well on top of being color neutral, just because don't really worry so much about your times. It's all kind of starting fresh. And so within this month, I did learn some new COLLs. I did learn a couple new algorithms for ZBLL, and it was good practice because I was able to implement those and not care so much that that solve was not as fast because I'm learning those new algorithms. And finally, number 5, go slow. There were a ton of solves that I was solving as fast as I can, and I inserted pairs wrong. Often I was inserting pairs how I normally would with a white cross, so I had to take them out and reinsert them. When it went slower, I had more time to process it. So even though I might have been turning at just a couple turns per second instead of 4 or 5, which I would usually do, everything was efficient. I was able to really plan things out and not worry so much of, am I going to mess this up when I insert it, because I'm going slow enough for that. As I went throughout the month, my turns per second was able to increase a little bit. Sometimes it would increase too much and I have to backtrack again because I started inserting pairs incorrectly again. So go slow. That goes back to the very first one again, and don't worry about your times. This whole thing is taking a step back. Now, I am still about 1.5 to 2 seconds slower than what my regular average was before this, but it's pretty close to where I feel like I can confidently do this most of the time, and I'm going to keep doing this. I haven't met anyone who practiced being color neutral for a few months and regretted it. Everyone who I've met has, or talked to, has said it was the best thing they did being able to do that. I was able to do so many more X crosses and things that I've never done before. And I'm actually going to do a new video on X cross showing a couple of those solves later on. So expect that in the future. Do I think being color neutral is worth it? 100%. I don't think there's a time where it's too late to learn. I saw a lot of things that said, after you are 15 seconds, it's just not worth it. Just keep doing what you're doing. No, I don't believe that's true at all. Because, yes, if you're solving in a minute and you start trying to be color neutral and your times go to a minute 10, a minute 20, that's not as big of an issue, and you're already going slower with that. If your times are 15 seconds, like mine kind of were, and then you try being color neutral and they double, okay. It's a bigger jump at first of going slower. As long as, like I said, you don't have a competition coming up, those times will get back down. One thing I noticed is when I was doing white cross, I was able to kind of zone out and just be able to know where all the sides were and just insert them without thinking too much. I had to think a lot more with this. I had to really start recognizing what each side was. When I have orange on top, I did not know when I started where blue would be compared to white or green, and it was something that I had to restart over and relearn. So if you already have fast times and you want to be color neutral, it's not too late. It's just going to feel like a bigger step back. Within a couple months, it's going to get better. I did about 2,000 solves this month, which averages to about 70 solves a day. And some days I did a couple hundred solves, some days I didn't have time to, so I did like 20 or so. But that's about how many solves I did, just to give you an idea of how much I practiced with it. So thank you very much. If you are color neutral and you have any other tips, leave that in the comment section below. If you did switch from not being color neutral, leave some of those suggestions in the comment section below. And if you're not color neutral and you have other questions, you can leave those in the comment section below too. Thank you very much. Hit like, subscribe for more content like this in the future. And as always, stop by speedcubereview.com for more news and reviews.